So what's it like to get to play a new version of Goku, to be Goku Black as well?
Oh, Goku Black. Yeah, that was really fun. It was a little challenging though because I was taking direction from the guy who made up Zamasu's voice, and so it has to fit in that world. And he kept tweaking it on the fly. He's a great actor, and I kept chasing that accent around. And it was really thrilling though. Once we got it locked down, it was really really thrilling. Especially when I watched it back, I thought it was really cool.
So
it was very satisfying. Yeah.
So he kind of chose the voice for you. You didn't really.
Well, he had to, because if you think about it, when you're creating a voice, that's what people don't understand. Okay, you have to use logic when you're creating a voice, and so here's what you have. You have these dynamics. You have a parallel universe. You have Zamasu. You have his spirit entering Goku's body. Well, if he talks like this in his normal body, it's going to be how he would talk coming out of this voice box, meaning Goku's voice box, which is my voice box, for when I'm playing Goku. So it's got to sound like him, but with Goku's voice box. And people seem to have a really difficult time grasping that. And so making sure that they sounded like there were two spirits who were the same spirit, like as if they were talking to themselves when they're condescendingly looking at they're having their little chats from high up,
Yeah.
And it had to sound like you were basically dealing with the same person talking to themselves. And I think we got it right, basically.
Yeah. Is it at all similar to doing Vegito?
Vegito. Oh, here's the interesting thing about Vegito. With Vegito, Chris records first because Vegeta's first. So I do affect a bit of a Vegeta accent when I do that, just so it mixes a little better.
Yeah.
Although in true artistic sense, I would really probably should just do a standard Goku voice, but I do it for me and Chris. I also don't do as many Goku peaks and valleys because I'm copying Chris especially on Gogeta. Because Chris told me, if you talk like Goku, like if I do Gogeta first and it's like really peaky and valley, like really up and down, he's like, it's hard for him to do that. Like it's really hard for him to do that because he doesn't have a crazy high range. One of the funniest things to do is ask Chris sing high in his falsetto, like some soul song. It's really funny. He's very funny. And he'll do it. He'll play along. He's funny.
So do you do anything to sort of get in the mood for the different characters, like play music or anything?
Oh, no. I don't. I mean, it's funny. Music. I'm a former professional musician, so if I'm listening to music, I'm thinking about chords, which I do think about music when I'm voice acting, but now my head's in notes and chord space, which is partly in the space I'm in when I'm doing the voice of Goku. But for the characters on Dragon Ball, no, I don't. I've done them so long, I don't need to. But for other shows, let's see, what would I do? I usually just get a vocal riff. When you've created a voice and you hear your own voice back on a vocal reference, all the subtext and all the construct of that voice is buried in the sound file in my head. So I could hear like one word or two words from a vocal ref from a voice I did, and boom, it's all there immediately because it triggers everything else that locks you into the character emotionally and otherwise. So if I create a voice that I haven't done for very long, and I come back a few months later and I say, can I have a vocal ref? They will give me one, and literally, sometimes they want to play me like, it'll drive me nuts. They'll play me like a minute's worth. I'm like, and I'm it's fine, let's go. Because the problem is they keep playing much. You've already decided you got it ready and you're ready to go. You'll lose it if you don't just go right then, and then you're just in it. And eventually, after a few sessions, you do learn the voice so well you don't need to go through that process again.
So what sort of reaction have you seen from the fans once they heard that Broly was coming back?
Well, we've had the trailer watched over 4 million times since yesterday, so I guess the reaction is, and they say coming back, yet the animators are like, let's act like he never existed. So he's coming back, but he's not coming. I'm like, okay, whatever you guys want to do is fine, but so people say, well, he's like coming back. According to Toya, he's not coming back. It's the first time we've seen him. So that's how I'm treating it. It's the first time we've seen him. Okay. So as an actor, I'm going to really try to get it out. And I don't even remember recording those movies. So the only thing I remember about it is it's really big, it's really strong, has a part in Goku. They had a thing on his head to control the power, and then Goku punched him in the gut with all the energy from everybody else and ripped his guts apart, and that was awesome, and I loved it. And that was all I remember from recording those movies. But this will be definitely really memorable. So it looks like the manga come to life. It's incredible.
Yeah. So who is your favorite DBZ villain?
Well, I mean, you argue it's Vegeta, but he's not really a villain anymore. I always enjoyed. I'm trying to think of who I really enjoyed. I mean, I always like the villains that kind of aren't villains, like Beerus. He's mean. I'll destroy your planet, but give me some food. He's fine. Boo annoyed the shit out of me. But I found Boo to be extraordinary. Not that it's a bad character; it's a brilliant design and great character. But it was just fighting an irrational. It's hard when you're mentally thinking about your acting attitude, your character attitude toward a Fighting Boo is like fighting a tornado. It doesn't really have malice. I mean, he does. There are certain versions of Boo, but when it was the big baby and the big, and it's just like I'll irrationally change you into candy. There's no motivation. I think that's why Boo can be good. He's not really he's a malevolent force, but not with any malice. He just wants what he wants. So Cell was pretty interesting to me, especially the androids and Dr. I found when the androids showed up and ripped Yamcha's heart out, that really blew my mind.
Yeah.
That freaked me out.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa, Dragon Ball just got real. Like, it was really cool.
Yeah. Do you have any episodes that really stick in your mind that, obviously that clearly is one. But,
oh, yeah. For me, honestly, since we've done Battle of Gods Resurrection F, that really is what sticks out in my head the most. It's the best work we've ever done. It's the best work I've ever done. It's the best stuff coming out of Toei so far. It's spectacularly done. And those are my two favorite arcs of all time. I'm hoping that we will top that with. Sorry, I've done so many interviews, my brain is farting. But I'm hoping we'll top that with Broly. Sorry, I was thinking Resurrection Broly. I don't know why I was thinking that, which is kind of like that in a way.
I mean, I'd watch that.
Resurrection Broly. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know what they're gonna do after the turn, multiple universes and the winners. I'm like, where do you go from there?
It's true.
Like, I'm thinking of other storylines. I was like, what are they gonna do after this? That's crazy. These guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I think I answered your question. Sorry.
Yes. So what does it mean to you to know that Toriyama is sort of like back writing these again, as he has with the last couple movies?
Oh, anytime Toriyama touches something, it turns to gold. So I know I still got to bring my game.
Yeah.
So I can't. I know regardless before we record the movie, it's going to be spectacular. And we're going to try to make it as spectacular for, or even more spectacular if we can for English-speaking audiences. So.
When you watch episodes, do you watch them with your voice or Nozawa?
Oh, I don't watch with I don't watch episodes very often, and I don't people. This is a really touchy subject because she's great and amazing, but I don't take influence from it because I don't believe artistically that the original cast recordings are necessarily best or the ones I should draw from, even though they are. And that's no comment on their cast all. That's just my general philosophy. That means nobody can do a better performance than the original performances of Shakespeare. I'm like, okay, what?
Yeah.
So I don't want to. It's not that I don't like it. I don't want to be influenced by the other. Only time I've done that is when I'm working on a show and they specifically said we really want you to copy the Japanese voice. But usually they only say we want the tone but not the acting because Japanese acting styles translate versus how our acting styles translate. It's very different. It's different culture, different language. Yeah. So it's a really weird thing how people are very defensive of subs over dubs. And I'm like, what are you trying to say? I don't get it. Then don't watch the dub and enjoy your sub because the subs are more available than dubs. So you're covered. Absolutely. So maybe leave us alone. So that's how I feel about that. But sorry.
Oh, no worries.
No, I'm not offended. I'm just thinking of all the times I've got it's asinine. It's so asinine. And asinine things bug the snot out of me, Oh, totally if I had my way, I love my fans. It's true. Yeah. But I get very overwhelmed and I don't like social media. So I would not have a Twitter feed if I could help it. But I would definitely go to conventions all the time and meet fans and shake their hands and be friendly and stuff. So I don't want people to take that the wrong way, but it's like you feel like this energetic mental connection to the world all the time. So the world felt much smaller to me when I was younger. Now it just feels like I have no escape from anybody. Yeah. Ever. Yeah. And part of that's my own fault. Yeah, I'm looking at my Twitter feed and tweeting stuff, right? And I'm looking at my Instagram, which I hate. I don't. When you open yourself up like that, you open yourself up to attacks and criticism. Yeah. And it's a dangerous thing for a lot of people. And I think as a culture and society, we gotta. I love the idea when I was watching a show that was shot in Victorian times, and I love that our language used to be very respectful of boundaries. If thou art inclined, thou might want to join me for dinner tonight. Oh yes, I might be inclined. And they're talking about sex or something. You know what I mean? Like they're talking about something much deeper, but they're being very, very. I'm like, I wish people were the general vernacular was just basic respect and boundaries instead of just like you suck, I see my thing, and I've done that in my life. I've said this on many interviews because I'm trying to affect change, and it's not going to change. What's going to change is here's what's going to happen. I'm going to do Dragon Ball as long as I can, as long as I am, and then I'm going to get my career to where I can get it, where I'm happy enough, hopefully successful enough to where and then I'm going to disappear from social media entirely. And trust me, it's not because there are a bunch of great fans who write me wonderful emails and I love them, and I'll leave an email address open for people to send me stuff. But just all the vitriol and complaints, and I think it's just really bad for society. I remember when Facebook first came out, I quit once because I'm like, this exacerbates narcissism. This is bad for humanity. This is not psychologically healthy. Then I went back on, and I hated it again. And then when I quit, they're like, so-and-so will miss you. And I'm like, that's my ex-girlfriend. She won't miss me. That's a jerk I don't know. How do you know they're going to miss me? You don't know Facebook. So I'm not a super fan of Facebook. Twitter, it's fine. They won't verify me because I don't fill out the form yet. It's obvious I'm me, so I think that's funny. And Instagram, it's fine. It's just, I'm really worried about the psychological zeitgeist of narcissism. It's very concerning to me because it could unknot the fabric of society and destroy us all. Although a virus will probably do that before then, or something else. You guys have heard of the singularity, right? All the technologies coming together, they're going to destroy us all. What's funny about that is I've always theorized that we need to lose about 3.5 billion people for the Earth just to generally survive. But then a scientist who actually knows that was just my personal pull a number out of my ass theory. But an actual scientist who studied this said the Earth is generally designed to survive with 2.5 billion people, and for long terms. So I'm like, well, what's going to happen? A world war? A release of a virus? I mean, sometime in my lifetime, I'm concerned that there's going to be right towards the end of my lifetime that there's going to be like a crazy zombie apocalypse, and I'm using that in quotes. I don't think there'll be actual zombies, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm just looking at all the cause and effect and looking at where it's going and going, okay, well, at least I got to be Goku. I mean, I really do. I tell myself, I'll be 50 this year, and I've generally had a very good life, and the last 20 years have been particularly good because of Dragon Ball and Goku. And so when I think about scary stuff like that, I'm like, I got mine. I can die now and be happy, but I'd love to live another 50 years. Yeah. And finish playing Goku, but I could die now and be happy. But I told myself when I got the part that I had to live long enough to finish being the part. Like, it was serious to me. I was like, if I finish it and I leave a legacy and give kids a consistent voice of Goku, because they changed it a lot, which really bothered me. You just give a consistent voice the whole time, and I could do all the material. I could leave that legacy behind, and I would consider my time on Earth well spent and my purpose on Earth to be fulfilled. And that's really how I feel about it. I had that since I got the part.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you from our perspective, like, having your voice consistently through has just been like such a wonderful thing.
Well, I'm glad you appreciate that, because I had to bust my balls to do it. They were not paying me to come back. I mean, they paid me a salary, but I was flying back on my own dime when times were tough at Funimation. I was like, I'll just do it. Just get me in there. I'll just do it. Yeah. At one point I was like, I got to do it for free? Come on, what are we doing? So everything's great now. This is many years ago, but everything's fine now. Funimation's treating me really great. Toei's treating us great. Everything's coming together in a really beautiful manner. And I'm also proud to be part of what I call the golden age of dubs. There were dubs 60s, 50s, 70s, but right in the 90s, what happened was there was a convergence of technology that allowed dubs to be produced cheaper. It was Pro Tools, recording software, and other various multi-track recording software, and then also the ability to compress film into QuickTime. So when we first started working on Dragon Ball, we had Betamax players that are $25,000 a piece that have these giant Betamax tapes, and they're really slow to rewind, so it takes you forever to make a show. I think I was working at NYV Post, and I think Michael Sinter-Nicholas might have been the first guy to ever compress QuickTime video for dubbing a show. He was trying to do things cheap and faster, and because he was at one-man shop, and he hired me to direct some shows for him. And I think we were one of the first guys, maybe possibly the first studio to ever do it. And then more studios start doing it, and then you have ability to compress and deliver videos on the internet. So it allows foreign properties to get more proliferated to other countries. So I'm honored and proud to. I mean, think about it. Like, I'm so lucky, and our cast is so lucky. The English version of Dragon Ball is shown to millions, possibly billions of kids in India, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada. I get fan mail from Kuwait in the Middle East and South Africa. I mean, it's anywhere there's even a remote amount of English speaking, they're watching the English version of Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball Z, and blows my mind when I travel overseas and you get treated like I get treated like a rock star here. It blows I can't wrap my head around it, and I've been doing it 20 years. Because I just walk around being Sean, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, and I'm like, oh. So I usually just go, oh yeah, thanks. That's it. I'm usually pretty clueless about it. Anyway, you're a great interview. Great job. Just a good questions. You let me ramble, and I'm sorry. I've had too much caffeine today.
No worries. So one of my favorite stories that you ever told us was about one of the earliest appearances you ever did, where the guy wanted you to put on a Goku head.
Oh, I'll tell that story quick. It's the last interview, right? Okay. So very first appearance I ever did, I think. a Burger King store. They were doing the Burger King promotion. This is in 2000, maybe. I know you kids remember this. They're old. And so A-Con was going on that year, and I really wanted to go to A-Con. It was my first con, and all my other actor friends were going there, but they had me and Sonny and Gen Fukunaga wanted to go to Burger King and do a Burger King signing event. So I called the manager to arrange the details of the Burger King, and he goes, "You gonna wear the head?" And I go, "Wear the head? You know, the head, the Goku head. I mean, like, you mean like in a costume?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "I'm a voice actor. I'm not wearing the head. What are you talking? I'm not gonna walk around waving at kids. Come on into Burger King, have a burger, you idiot." So we show up. They didn't advertise at all. Nobody showed up. And me and Gen and Sonny had burgers. And then we left with little Goku statues.
Oh,
I took some pictures I had an old Nikon camera I was using, and I lost these photos because I can't believe I actually said, I'm never going to use these negatives. And because I've never used a negative in my life. And then someone threw out my photo album when I brought to work one day. They didn't realize it was mine, and they were just cleaning house because they were sick of it, and they just threw it out. Oh. So that was a very fun, I remember thinking, all right, well, show's not as popular as I thought it was. And then I went over to A-Con the last day, and it was a mob. It was great. So I was like, okay, I get it now. So it was cool. But that was fun. And my first Comic-Con, actually, here's a funny story. Okay, one last funny story. So my first Comic-Con was in 2000, I think. And we just got on the show, and we'd taken over from the Canadian cast. There was a lot of hype around it. And, we were trying to be respectful of that cast and try to carry on the legacy, et cetera. But Funimation wanted us to go to Comic-Con, and they had a guy working for them who got fired, who really screwed us up. And I'm not going to mention his name because he's probably doing something else. He's fine. But he did not know how to do a convention. So he didn't understand that we needed to have a table to sign at. We needed to have a table to sit down at. So what he did was he set up a table. He thought he was there to sell toys or something. So they put me and Chris and Sonny and Stephanie Nadolny in the same hotel room in a crappy hotel by the railroad tracks that I think was next to a strip club. There was cockroaches. And we wheeled in an extra bed for Sonny, and at some point before we had to go to bed, we got Stephanie her own room because we're like, this is not cool. And we show up to work, and we have this crazy long line. But the problem is he didn't have any table. He had tables set up with toys everywhere and no place for us to sign. But luckily, Wendy Penny, the creator of ElfQuest, is a huge Dragon Ball fan, and her booth was right next to ours.
Oh, good.
And so she's a very mystical, spiritual person, and she actually taught me. When I got the part, I took it very seriously, and I was trying to research the role as best I could, and I knew it was something really important. I think psycho-spiritually, I knew it was really important to a lot of people, and I was really wanting to do it right. So she goes, "We're upset about this," and she goes, "Are you guys the Dragon Ball cast? You're voice of Goku, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And she looks at me and she goes, "Do you believe in synchronicity?" And then I go, "I don't know, I never heard of it." She goes, "Well, we should have dinner. You guys want to sign at our booth because you don't have tables?" And we go, so they let us sign at the ElfQuest booth. And we had the fire marshal got called. We had a line like 4 hours long. And then she talked to me. She taught me about the Monkey King and the Great Journey West, and she showed me an earlier animation that was based on not from Toei, but from it was a famous, I forgot what it's called, Alibaba or some kind of. It was basically the Monkey King parable and animated. I can't remember the title of it. And I sat and watched it with her, and it really put me on the quest to play Goku. I always felt that way, but it gave me more source material. We didn't get a lot of source material. It was really, really challenging. So there's a big push at that point is where I kind of got the mantle, psycho-spiritual mantle from Wendy Penny to play this character in the way that should be played, I hope. So
that's such a beautiful story.
It was really she's a dear friend, and Sonny ended up drawing ElfQuest for her, and he's about to draw some more ElfQuest for her. They've been friends for 20 years now.
Oh, that's so cool.
And they're beautiful. Richard and Wendy are amazing people, and we're still hoping for an ElfQuest movie. So anyway, but for now, I'm doing the Dragon Ball movie. Yeah. So the Dragon Ball broccoli. No, I just found out it meant broccoli, so I love saying it. So I didn't realize that this whole time. I was talking to this other interviewer. I was like, I didn't realize till like last year that Goku's outfit is the same color as a carrot. I was like, Kakarot. When I go, wait a second, this is the same as a. I get it now. It was a Goku moment for me. I have these Goku moments that I'm being totally stupid and clueless. But anyway, I'll keep talking to you. So
one last. Let's end on a silly question.
Okay.
How many Goku action figures do you have?
I have too many, and I've had to get rid of a lot of them. And I get given gifts a lot, and I do I keep most of them. If I have to throw things away, I take a picture of it, or I give it to someone else. And I'm like, because I have no room. Yeah. And I usually try to collect the things that are extremely rare or unique, or Goku has a different outfit on. So I don't do the standard stuff. I try to find really special weird things that that are very, very cool. Chris has some of the best stuff. I mean, he's
Yeah.
got a pod. He has a Saiyan armor head made for him. He's got really, really, really good stuff. But I can't wait for the new SH Figure Arts toys are spectacular. I want that
Yeah.
new Goku with a power pole. Some kid showed me one. I'm like, can I have this? Like, I really want one of those. I have one of the other base form Goku ones, and they're so posable. You could do stop motion animation with it because I tested it with my 3DS. I didn't do a whole movie. I just tested Goku just gyrating his arms, and it worked. You can do stop motion animation on a 3DS. It has a stop motion animation mode. And those figures are posable enough to do that. It's really cool. Anyway, I digress. Plug for that. Well, I wouldn't plug them if I didn't think they're amazing. I would just say, I love when they come with extra different faces. There's faces and hands. You know, it's like, it's like, it cracks me up. Anyway,
Well,
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was great.